Well, good morning, everyone. It is December 13th, 2010, and this morning we have Lois Palmer, who is a longtime member of Lakewood Country Club, and she's here to tell us the life story of herself and the events that brought her to Lakewood Country Club. So first, welcome, Lois.
Thank you.
To the morning interview. And first, let me just start out by asking you, can you tell us where you were born, please?
I am a native Clevelander, and I was born in an ethnic neighborhood where everyone had front porches, and during the summer everyone would sit on the front porches and everyone knew your business. And it was a wonderful neighborhood. It just was. I can remember Christmas Eves, I can remember so many things, and I was born on East 25th Street, which my grandfather, Nicholas Rudman, settled because it was an old Croatian neighborhood. So at any rate, so as I said, that's part of the wonderful memories and all, but I was born in a house, not a hospital, during the Great Depression. My mother said, and the night you were born, we didn't have hot water. Well, no one had any money at that time because it was at the height of the Depression, I guess, you know. So obviously I was raised with, well, you don't remember the Great Depression. Anything that I would do would be, that's not how we did it during the Depression, and how frugal people were. And Rand was like that too, to a degree. So yeah, that's where I was born.
Okay. Now, you were born in the house on East 25th.
Right.
Okay, and where did you go to school in the local area?
I went to East High School, which at that time was on East 82nd Street, and had to take a streetcar, etc. But it was a great school, and it's different now. Obviously, they tore down the original building, etc., and had a great school spirit. Our baseball teams, or not baseball, but our football teams never did very well. But what are you going to do and all, so.
Did you specialize in any education aspects?
I went for college preparatory,
okay,
etc., thinking that I would go to college, but I was 18 and had never been out of the city of Cleveland. And my sister wanted to go, who was an avid baseball fan, wanted to go to Detroit to see the Indians play the last games of the season. So at any rate, my mom said, you know, you have to go with her. Mm-hmm. So as I said, I was 18, June was 16, and I asked a girlfriend to go because I wanted someone my own age, and my sister had her girlfriend, so we went and we stayed at the same hotel with the Cleveland Indians. Consequently, I met my first husband, who played for the Cleveland Indians, was Herb Conyers, and was a first baseman, but a rookie. Didn't make it. He was up with the Indians for a while, but his competition was Luke Easter and Mickey Vernon. And so Hank Greenberg, who was general manager at that time, would not sell him or get rid of him. It was before the free agent clause, and 8 major league teams wanted him. But there again, you know, he rotted. Well, he consequently left baseball and coached baseball at Collingwood High School and taught math and was a guidance counselor. And then unfortunately, he died in 1964. So
then were you working at that time?
You know, I went back to work. I was one of these people that I gave up my Social Security. I'm really proud of that. At any rate, but I thought, you know, I didn't want to sit around the house doing nothing. So I went back to work, but I was singing in our church choir at that particular time right after Herb died. And one of the gals there, she said, gosh, Lois, you know, you'd really be a great receptionist, and I hope I'm not offending you, but would you consider going back to work? And we really need someone really badly, and it was industrial advertising agency. And at that particular time, I think for anyone who has lost a spouse, you're at a low ebb and all that, and need all the confidence, and it was great that someone offered me a job. And so anyway, went down and interviewed and got the job, and had a great 4 years of being single, and met a lot of people, etc. And you want to know about how I met Rand then?
Well, to tell us a little bit about your job. I mean, where was this located?
It was in the Hanna Building. Great location for a single person.
Right.
There was a lot of travel. I mean, all the airlines, international airlines, were right in that area, which are no more, etc. But as I said, you know, I met a lot of people. In fact, some of the people, Dave Woodward, you know, he was one of the reps for Penton Publishing,
Right.
and then a couple of others, Atherton and all. So it was right down my alley because I could still get home at 5 o'clock because I had a young son, and you know, do my thing, but then also being kind of outgoing and like to be on the scene. Friday nights was my night. It was TGIF, and we all met at the Hanna Pub for their great, shall I say, sauerkraut balls. But at any rate, it was fun. It was great for me, and it gave me the confidence that I needed, etc. And then I met Rand.
Well, tell me about your son.
My son, Jeffrey, is... it was unfortunate that his father died when he was 10 years old.
Okay.
At any rate, but Herb always gave Jeffrey his bath at night so that they you know, in retrospect, you think they bonded. Mm-hmm. So Jeff can remember that. But Jeff went on to Euclid High School, played basketball there. Then when I remarried and married Rand Palmer, he had to transfer to Fairview Park and all. So played basketball there. And then went on to Great Northern, Ohio Northern, because it was a basketball school. And so then consequently he was working for the FAA, you know, kind of telling planes, you know, giving weather forecasts, etc. And right now he just retired at kind of an early age and all that, but he could do it. So, and he seems to be happy. He's married. He has 2 sons, and he's also just became a grandfather, which makes me a great grandmother. So yeah, thank you very much.
Oh,
yeah.
My goodness. So he retired from the FAA?
Yes.
Was he out at Oberlin? Is that where?
No, he was with the FAA here at the airport, and then when Lockheed bought the facility, they transferred him to eventually to Washington, D.C., which was great. You know, so he retired from the federal government and then was on the payroll with Lockheed, etc. So financially it turned out very well. So let's put it this way, I'm not supporting him.
Okay, well that's good. Now, you then lived in Euclid.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and whereabouts in Euclid did you
we lived on 204. Which was north of the boulevard, so we had the lake right at the end of our street, had a marvelous park there with swings, and you know, you could walk down, you know, like a field and then kind of go down and all, and it was great, and we were very active in our community and at Boulevard Presbyterian Church in Euclid, and was there until I remarried, so.
Yeah, I have a friend who lives there and has lived there for a while, and there's a great area on the shoreline and parks all on that area.
But it's changed a lot too, so and that's unfortunate. But I go back for reunions with the old Mr. and Mrs. Club, and a lot of them are still alive at it. But I have to say I was the youngest one.
That's great. Okay. So now tell us, now how did you meet your second husband?
Okay.
Randy.
I was very good friends with Cal and Willie Stearns. Now, Cal played hockey for the Cleveland Barons.
Oh, yes.
And was really on the scene with the Chamber of Commerce and everything. And you'd go to a party at their house, you'd have the mayor, you'd have the car park attendant. You know, I mean, it was a great group, etc. Well, because he was on the scene a lot, he had tickets for a Boys Town function, and he didn't want to go, and Willie said, Lois, you've got to come with me. So I did, and behold, as during the reception for this function, there is Randy Palmer. Now I have to tell you too, that Randy was, I have to think, quite a bit older, like 21, 22 years old, my senior. And he had dated this, and Rand was a widower, okay? But he was at that time dating Joan Fox, who was the daughter of Burt McDonald, who started McDonald Investments. So anyway, Willie and I walk into the reception, and I took a look at Rand and Joni was maybe a year or two older than I, but I said, God, I'd never date anyone that much older. Famous last words. So I guess we kind of dated on and off.
Did he ask you first, or did he ask you for a date, or?
Yeah, he called right away, but I was kind of involved with someone else at that time also, and at any rate, and I was really busy. I mean, it wasn't a come on or anything like that, so I guess he caught me at a bad time, and I said yes, I would go. We did come out to the club, and I looked at him and I said, Rand, there's so many nice women out there. Can't you find someone your own age? I swear to God, this happened. So at any rate, he said, no, I couldn't find anyone out. So but he was always there. Right. I mean, if I was going to Hawaii, he'd call, and at this time I was working for a travel agency, Allen Travel in the Hanna Building. So, but he was always on the scene, like, can I drive you to the airport? Can I pick you up? Do you need this? Do you need that? And you got kind of used to it and everything. So we got married in December 26, 1969.
Oh, okay. All right, great. And you set up the honeymoon with the travel agency, I would assume?
Yeah, we couldn't because Jeff was still in school. I mean, we had to get a babysitter, so we waited until May to go on our honeymoon. And then we decided, because I did set it up, we went to Greece and took a Greek island cruise.
Oh, how nice.
And I got a really good discount. So I always teased him. I said, yeah, but I paid for this, and all that kind of stuff too. But we had to stop in Brussels, just as a little side story, and we were on the Grand Place. And at any rate, he disappeared which he always did anyhow, but he disappeared for a moment or two, and he comes back with a gardenia, which I thought was sweet, and all that. And then we went on to Greece and all had a great time.
That's wonderful. That's great. So you came back, okay, and now your son is still in high school?
No, he's out of college.
He's out of college.
Yeah. So remember I told you he was working and all that. Okay. But I guess you want to know about Lakewood Country Club too? Can I jump into that one now? Okay, since we were married in '69, I'm trying to think of her name, but at any rate, someone called me in the spring to come to a luncheon thinking that, I would probably join the Ladies Association. And I just dabbled in golf at one time because Cal Stearns was an excellent golfer and he'd take me out or whatever have you. So at any rate, everyone at the luncheon would say, well, do you play golf? I said, no, not really. And they said, well, you're going to have to because Randy loves golf and all that, and you don't want to sit home all the time by yourself while he's on the golf course. And of course, you tell me what to do, and I'm the type of person, no, I will not play golf. Well, once I became addicted, I would spend like 5 days a week on the golf course, took a lot of lessons and all, and really worked on my game. So,
Who was the pro then?
That was Jerry Boykin.
Okay.
And all that. And then I guess Carl Bembutel had just left. And if I really got into trouble, Rand said, well, you have to go to Carl Bembutel because I couldn't understand why I wasn't getting better, and everything. It's the old story. So at any rate, but Jerry was a good guy, etc. So, but as I said, I started to play golf, made a lot of golfing buddies out here, a lot of friends that I still have. And unfortunately, a lot have died. But that's part of life too, so. But, I think one of the greatest, I was listening to not Mike Manco, but his son, tell a story, and I think the biggest thing in patting my own back and all that was, I hated competition. I'm more of I like to talk on the golf course and all that kind of fun stuff. But at any rate, I had my handicap low enough to play on the team when they really had to scrape the bottom of the barrel to find people to play. Well, we were playing here, fortunately, that one day, but every time I'd go to another club or, try to play, I'd lose all the points. I mean, you know, I just didn't do very well under the competition. And most of the gals were better golfers because they had really low handicaps. Well, came out here, and at that time, they would, I think it was like 3-3-3. If you won the front side, you got 3 points. If you won the back, you got 3. You got 9 points on the overall. Well, damn, talk about luck. I shot an 89 and took all 9 points. I mean, I remember Joanne Blakesley coming up to me. I think people were surprised, you know. But she came and she said, "Oh, I'm so proud of you." And I said, "I'm proud of me," you know, and all that.